Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Buffalo Fanatics proudly brings to you. Oh, I don't want to do my wrestling bang, but y'all know what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Rico back at it again, joined by my guy Jeff Landers, aka the Vet. And we got a special guest on the bottom of the screen. That's my guy Carlton from Life of Carlton. If you guys don't know, now you know, but we'll let Carlton speak on what he's going on, what's going on in his life right now. But gentlemen, good morning. How are you guys? Are you guys feeling fantastic?
I'm feeling good, Rico. I'm feeling good, man. I got my voice back after yesterday. Brother, the hype is still there. I'm still watching highlights, still watching interviews. Happy to be here, brother. So happy to be on the Buffalo Fanatics today. Join you guys. Let's get started, man.
That's what's up, man.
I got chills just now because we feel so good after that win yesterday. Let's get into it, guys. How can you not be happy? First time in 25 years that the Bills have played in a playoff game in Orchard Park, and they bring it home. Finally, we get that playoff drought over. It is amazing. Good morning to you all, and we're going to lead you into the Sunday games, 1 o'clock kickoff Eastern time. So go ahead, smash that like button.
Yes, sir.
Share it. Get more people in this room. We're not even a minute into the broadcast, and we're jacking up the numbers, 184 already. And if you want to get that bell rung for you, get in the super chats. Rico will get you a part of that bing bingity bing squad. Go ahead, hit it, Rico.
Bing biggity mother effing bing. Let's go, man. It doesn't matter how early it is. We're gonna get into it today. My guy Jeff Landers is in the building. My guy Carlton Speaks is in the building. Let's get this thing going, Jeffrey.
How better can we start than all right, this game's over. Who do we want to play in the next round? Who do we want? Who are we throwing shade at this weekend? Is it going to be Tennessee, Baltimore, Pittsburgh? Do we want Cleveland to just annihilate the Steelers without their head coach? Because that would be funny as hell. What do we want to see, fellas?
You know, can I kick this one off here?
Go for it.
So, doesn't it feel good just to sit back and kick your feet up a little bit?
I noticed that you lean back a little bit.
Yeah, you know, I had to give the visual here. I'm just, sit back and be like, all right, let's see who's on the plate, for next week. So I'm gonna start off with who I'd love, right? I'd love a chance at Tennessee again, personally.
Yes, sir.
I want redemption for what happened earlier this year. Josh had that separated shoulder. I don't think that was a real good representation of our team. I think that if we get them again, that would be a statement win going into KC. And the Music City Miracle, revenge. There's a lot of things there where I want them. But strategically, we want Pittsburgh. That's what we want. Because I think that Tennessee or Baltimore has a better chance to maybe knock off KC and just make that road a little bit smoother for the Bills. We want the road less traveled. Of course, as a fans, we want to get that revenge, but I think that road less traveled is a smoother path for us, man. So I'm rooting for Pittsburgh today.
I really like that answer. I really do. Like right now, what it's looking like is we're going to be playing the highest seeded team. Once these games are all said and done. So right now we're looking at Baltimore, the Browns, the Tennessee Titans, and the Steelers. Here's the deal. What makes us pick your poison. The poison is going to be deadly no matter what. So it won't really matter of who you want to face. Now, the one thing that I wouldn't say stands in our way, but could also be an advantage is that we've already faced the Titans and we've already faced the Steelers. And we've already faced the Baltimore Ravens. We faced all four teams in the last 2 years, 2 years, give or take. So we have an idea of what these guys are like. But if I'm going to choose a poison that I think that we could, we could go to the hospital and get our stomach pumped and we're good to go. I'm going to hit the Steelers. I don't really, Big Ben is Big Ben, but I think that we have Big Ben's number. And that run game is not as strong as it used to be. We had their number, and I think we're going to do it again. Will they make adjustments? Absolutely. Is Coach Tomlin a hell of a coach? Yeah, damn right he is. But King Henry over there and Ryan Tannehill, we got to put some respect on Tannehill's name, man, because he is a good quarterback. Go ahead, Jeff.
No, if there's someone who wants to face the Titans again, it's going to be Josh Norman after what happened to him against King Henry. He wants King Henry in his sights so he can line him up again. But what I said 2 weeks ago, and really the last 4 or 5 weeks as we've been going through this, who do we want to play in the first round of the playoffs? My answer was always anybody, anytime, anywhere.
That's right. You did say
got to beat anybody, anytime, anywhere in order to get to the Super Bowl. Sean McDermott, that's going to be his philosophy. That's part of the process. But for us fans, who do I want? Of course it's Pittsburgh. I think that's the easiest road to the AFC title game because we haven't seen Baltimore. They are absolutely on fire. You know, they're coming around. And Lamar Jackson, after watching Josh Allen pick up the first win among quarterbacks of that class, he is going to be lit up today in order to get his first win because he had that MVP season last year and then fell on his face in the playoffs. So I don't want to face Baltimore in the next round. Would I love to have Tennessee come to Buffalo in retribution of the forward pass that started the freaking drought? Yeah, I want Tennessee in Buffalo, but Ryan Tannehill's good. You got King Henry running like he does. What's this, back-to-back 2,000-yard seasons for him? He's going to be a Hall of Famer someday if he keeps playing like this. So, let's let either of those two teams go into Kansas City. And really, Kansas City is not playing this week. They took last week off. That's 2 full weeks. They could be very rusty if Tannehill or Lamar Jackson, they get hot today and carry that into Kansas City next week. That could be very tough for the Chiefs to overcome if either of those teams get out to a hot start. So, yeah, you're damn right. I want the Pittsburgh Steelers because you know what? They're already throwing shade on Twitter at Bills Mafia. If you go to the Twitter account, Steelers Depot, and look at the stuff their fans are saying about Buffalo.
Boy,
it's locker room, put on the wall stuff. And don't forget about it until next week.
Well, I will say this, though. You said something that was very interesting. And where the drought began, wouldn't that be quite a story? It would be that Tennessee would have come to Buffalo and we beat them at home and we just put to bed this curse or this drought for good, where it began, where it ends with the Bills taking down the Titans. But you know what? I ain't a fool. I'd rather take the damn Steelers before I take on the Titans because I'd love to see. I mean, we don't even know how it's going to go today. It's going to be a slugfest today with the Titans and I believe the Ravens. So that's going to be a hell of a game. Who's the first game today, by the way?
Hold on, let me pull it up. I got it right here. First game. I got to go up. That is the Ravens and Titans. 1:05 Eastern kickoff in Tennessee. The line, according to ESPN.com, Baltimore 3.5-point favorites. Wow. And the over-under on that game is 54 points. So they're expecting a 23-21 type of ball game, 24-20 type of ball game out of that.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, it does.
That sounds about right.
I think when I look at the Steelers, though, do we think Juju TikTok dances again if we face
him?
Hell
no.
You think he learned his lesson a little bit there?
Now, if he has the balls and he has no respect for his team, he'll go right back onto that logo.
I hope so.
Here's the thing. If you're the Bills and you're the Bills secondary and you're the Bills defense, you're going to be pissed off if he dances again. Now, you're also going to be pissed off if he doesn't have the balls to go out and dance again. So go ahead and use either situation as that motivation to knock that ball out of his hands as he catches one across the logo. Make him fumble it again like he did. We got this comment coming in from Kristen. I love the Bills, but why did they do me like that? Geez, they gave my heart palpitations. Yeah. I texted my buddy Matt, and I'm like, this was an hour after the game. I'm like, are you still fired up after this? Oh, yeah. We all were. I think, Carlton, how are you feeling? How long did it take for you to settle down?
So I'm going to be honest, I'm still a little jittery. It's weird. So I understand our palpitations there. The funniest thing, so I have my family over, right? And I have a 7-month-old son. Nice. And we introduced him to the Bills Mafia early. So
that's right.
He's coming in. He's got the Josh Allen little infant jersey on. He's all about it. But when Micah Hyde jumped up and swatted that ball down.
Oh, man.
Son,
with authority.
Oh my! Like a volleyball spray, right? I love it. So the whole living room goes crazy. I look over at my son, fear in his face. What's going
What's happening?
on? I'm like, you're ready. Now you've been initiated into the Mafia, man. So, I mean, that's what we do, man. We ride that wave, as fans. We've seen the ups, we've seen the downs, but we never get used to it. You know what I mean? And in those situations, honestly, Bills teams in the past, you almost expect to lose that game. You expect to get your heart broken. So to see, the resolve this team has, man, this is a special team, man. I call it a team of destiny. If you look at everything that happened, the Arizona game, the Hail Murray, that set us up to be ready for this. If that didn't happen, we might have gave up a touchdown.
I've said it before that I think that moment is the reason why the Bills won't lose another game the rest of the season. And they didn't in the regular season. Now we've started the second season, all bets are off. But if they go on to win the Super Bowl, it's that play, because the Bills were reinforced that they weren't good enough, even with Josh Allen coming up with a last-minute drive on that game. They weren't good enough to win. And that was what made Josh Allen go, okay, I can't just do my best. I have to put the defense on my back the rest of the way. He did that because in 2018 to 2019, the defense carried the offense. And I think that's a critical moment. We got a super chat in. Mike, thank you for the super chat. Rico, hit the bell.
Yes, sir. We're going to get that bill from my guy, Mike Lazinski. Says, I think it's a good thing that we didn't crush the Colts yesterday. The realization that a loss can happen will keep them on a point. Now, I've got to add to that, Mike, because you guys mentioned that what happened in week 10 versus the Cardinals is propelling us to where we are right now, 1,000%. But I'm going to add to that. What happened last night or yesterday afternoon was massive, because they know that at any point, this game is not over. We were up by 14 at one point, and then all of a sudden we're up by 3, and they're marching. And our backs were against the wall. And I don't care what any Bills fan says. There was a moment in time where you're like, holy shit, we might lose this game in an ugly fashion. The fumble not going our way, and all of a sudden you're giving Phillip Rivers a chance to win the game. All it took was somebody doing a bonehead move and pass interference, giving Rivers another shot. The amount of scenarios that were going through my head, that when we finally got that batted ball down, it was great. Now, here's the point I'm trying to make here. The fact that we know that at any point the game is alive, I think that gives us the juice to know that we've got to play 60 freaking minutes all the way through, because at any point, anything can happen. It's the NFL. So I'm glad we got away with that win. I'm pleased. And what I'm even more pleased about is that we've got almost 400 people watching in this bitch. Yes, so I'm going to ring my bell for the crew. We are ringing it up. We got 400 people. Let's try to get this thing up to 600 people on a Sunday afternoon, because the Bills won. That's exactly what it is.
All right.
God damn.
Carlton, I want to let you go, but Rico, on your point, the fumble should have gone our way, but may God bless Darrell Williams. God bless that man for getting on that ball. And whatever he wants this offseason, you better fucking pay him for that play alone.
That is the facts. That is completely the facts, because Darrell Williams, first of all, let's break that play down from Josh Allen. We've seen this Josh Allen before. That was 2018 Josh Allen, a little bit of 2019 Josh Allen. We thought we buried that Josh Allen far long ago, but he seems to creep up and move in like he's Undertaker and wake back up and bring us that Josh Allen that we don't like. Let's break this play down. Yeah. He gets hit. He gets out of it somehow. That's what he does. He's trying to make a play. The ball is hit out of his hand. There must have been 3 times he struggled to try to get out of that. And I'm like, go down. Take the sack. We're good. We're marching. Don't do it. Ball's out. As the ball is out, that thing is moving around. Then it hits somebody's foot, which changes the trajectory of this damn ball, the direction of this ball. Yeah. Darrell Williams comes in and scoops it up. And you've seen it, and I've seen it many times, where you think the big man jumps on the ball, he's got it secured, all of a sudden it squeaks out from under his belly and it's in somebody else's hand. The fact that he secured that ball, my goodness, thank you, my good man.
No, seriously, I can't stress that enough, man. That might have been the play of the year by Darrell Williams. That little effort right there was the biggest thing. But to kind of go back to your point about Josh, we have a group chat, multiple group chats going on, and the main thing we said is, oh my God, he's malfunctioning again. Like, don't let him do this now. We have a code name for it. We call it Meathead Allen, right? So Meathead Allen comes out every now and then, and he makes those type of plays. And I know it's because he wants to win, and I know it's because he wants to make the big play. But this year, we've seen him kind of eliminate that, right?
Absolutely.
When I saw 3rd and 33, I was like, oh, it's going to happen. He's going to either try to throw it 40 yards or something terrible is going to happen. When he checked it down, it may not have been, the flashy play. That little check down to get the punt off, that was the smartest.
That's the veteran play. That's the veteran play.
He's learning.
I was so happy when I saw that. I said, okay.
J Mafia coming in. This is an air raid offense. We need to stop trying to run the ball, especially with Allen and Josh. Allentown was lit yesterday. The Mafia was out there. Yes, sir. And we also got another super chat coming in from Sergio Chavez. Want to give a shout out to our team or to the other team? Probably to our team. Refs made us essentially win the game twice. These boys are special. They didn't fold monkey off our backs, guys. Thank you very much for the super chats. Hit that bell again, Rico.
Let me add to that, Mr. Sergio Chavez. By the way, Sergio Chavez tried out the ketchup chips from Canada, and he absolutely loved them. He claims he didn't like them at first, but the whole bag is empty. So nice try. I'm on to you. So I will say this, though. Those tight scenarios that we had at the end of the game where fumble doesn't happen, the refs try to get in the way. Give a shout out to how McDermott has learned from his decision-making ways back then, where his timidness would not allow him to throw a flag or wouldn't call a timeout at the right time. But the fact that we got our timeout back, was able to call a timeout in crucial times to disrupt the flow of the Colts that allowed us to have that win. My goodness, this was what you call a team effort all the way through. Players played hard, and the coaches did what they were supposed to do at the crucial times. Man, I'm just glad we got out of this game with a win, because we could easily be talking about next year and what we're going to do and how we're going to do this, that. Listen, we are on to the next, and that's what really stands out to me a lot. Jeff, I need to ask you something though, man.
Okay.
We're talking about how this team has been constructed and decision-making is happening. And speaking of decisions, we've got a decision to make, and that's in the running back room, the running back position. So, Jeff, talk to me about what direction we should go or could be going with Zach Moss's injury.
Well, I think all of Bills Mafia will point out Antonio Williams came out of nowhere in Week 17 against Miami. So you have a viable option there to replace Zach Moss if Zach Moss is going to be out for an extended period of time. But and I'll continue this after Todd Barker. Thank you very much, Todd. Daughter asked me for a JA-17 jersey, showing her first real interest in football yesterday. Brought me back to my first Bills memories. Go Bills, so proud. Shout out to Todd Barker and his family.
That's dope.
We got to talk about that next.
Definitely get the daughter a jersey. But what I've said 4 weeks is we don't need to worry about the running backs production. And I use this analogy consistently, is that it's like a baseball pitcher using the pickoff move. Andy Pettit's pickoff move for the Yankees was elite, and he used it to pick guys off consistently. We don't need that as a running game. We need our running game to be the pitcher who's just going to step off the mound and lob it over to keep the runner honest, to keep the runner right there, to know that we will throw over if you take off. Now, that's what our running game needs to be. Keep the defense honest, so you're not just playing the passing game and Josh Allen. Use Devin Singletary, Zach Moss sparingly in situations. Now, they were running on second and 10 all through the Miami and New England games. They would get to second and 10, and they would run the ball. Now, normally you would say, why are you running on second and 10? That doesn't make sense. But I think Brian Dable was using those last 2 games of the season to throw off the statistics of what the Bills are going to do on second and long. Okay, we've had 14 games up to this point where they have a book on what we're going to do on second and 10, so to speak. Now we're going to use these final 2 games to just completely throw off the stats, and we will run the ball on second and 10 so that they can't get a real key. Now, you don't need those guys to be mega producers. We finished 13-3 without the running game getting 100 yards a game. It's okay that Zach Moss went down now because you have Antonio Williams and he showed out. Now, do I want Zach Moss to be healthy and come back right away? I hope that's the case. That would absolutely be amazing. I wish him well, and I don't wish injury on him. But the fact that he is down, we're not in super deep trouble.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to read this here. I've got Mike Lazinski says, channeling my inner major league. There's only one thing left to do, and that's win the whole effing thing. He knows. Listen, man, that little clip right there can actually get someone really pumped up. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to cap because it's true. And then the black man gives a whole hand clap, ready to go. Yeah, I get it.
Pedro thing up there a little bit. I
will. Now I'm gonna put the question on Carlton. Now I'm gonna be more specific with Carlton. You've got a decision to make.
Okay.
Devin Singletary is your RB1 now, clear cut RB1. Yep. You've got TJ Yeldon that's been sitting on the inactive list all year long, and then you've got the new to us. You know what I'm saying? Antonio Williams. Now everybody thinks that Antonio Williams is the sexy thing. What is the right thing to do? Activate TJ Yeldon that can catch out of the ball at the backfield, great hands, and can run inside the tackles, or do you go with the new shiny thing and Antonio Williams? What do you do if you're Sean McDermott?
It's a great question, Rico. And I have to piggyback off of Jeff here. I loved what I saw with Antonio Williams, man. I loved it. I loved what it is about him? He's an undrafted guy, right? A lot of people don't know this. He started off at Ohio State, I believe, right? Is that the team he started with?
Was that there?
And I think he started Ohio State and transferred to UNC. One of those teams.
What's something on the right? I know he just finished. Right. I don't know the backdrop of it.
Right. So let's say this: he has the caliber, and he wants the opportunity, right? And you look at him now, a guy like that, he's hungry, man. He didn't even know if he was going to play this year. He's ready for the opportunity. He showed that in Week 17. He came in. He was running like his career depended on it. Like I need this chance. I want this rock. Absolutely. And when you see somebody with not just that power, he had the power of Moss, but he had an extra gear that I saw. He had an extra little burst. That little burst is missing in our running game. If you look at Singletary, he's elusive. He's good out of the backfield as far as catching. But we're missing that. You take one cut, decisive, go. That's what we need that. And when I look at Antonio Williams in that first game, I saw it, man. And I couldn't agree more with Jeff when he says, we're a passing team. That's what we are. We're a spread them out, pick them apart offense. Okay. But you need to have a little bit of balance in there just to offset it a little bit. Now, to offset it, you have to have a threat of this guy might just dice you for 10 yards, right? Right. Tony Williams, I think, can do that. And I just think he's hungry enough to where if you give him the rock, he's going to hold on to it. Yeldon, he's had his chances, and I'm a fan of him.
Okay.
He's had his chances, man. He's been that guy before.
Go ahead, Jeff. You got something to say, man.
Did you get the super chat in by Sergio? Give Singletary
we did get Sergio. Did we get Sergio already?
We got him once, but here's another one from Sergio. Give Singletary cred, though. Ran well when called upon. Absolutely. Yeah. Singletary is your RB1. Now, what I will say is, if I put myself in McDermott's shoes and I try to think about the process, it's the veteran. It's the veteran. You're going to put the veteran in and take TJ Yeldon. I remember when he first came to Buffalo preseason, one of his first, 3 or 4 snaps, he put the ball on the ground in the preseason, did not see the rest of the game in the preseason. He got the message. He got that message that the ball is the most important thing. And he's been through this roster, been with this roster for what, 2-3 years now? You're going with the veteran option because the rookies in the playoffs, I know Zach Moss is a rookie, but he's had a full season under his belt. Antonio Williams, 1 game, rookie. You're going with the veteran if you're Sean McDermott. Kathy Barnaby, thank you. Rico, get on the back.
My girl from Ottawa, Kathy Barnaby. We were striving for 5-95. We are not. We are not done in 21. Sometimes these things got me all dyslexic and can't even read.
Yeah, I feel you on that. That was good though.
I swear, I can't even read. Shout out to my girl Kathy Barnaby. Listen, man, we are definitely not done. We've got a lot to go with. Now I got to touch back on this running back position, man. Yep. I love Antonio Williams. Everybody loves them a underdog story, right? But let's keep it a buck. Antonio Williams was put in a position where he had every opportunity to bust his ass and really show out and do what he's got to do. And he's been doing, like my guy, Mackenzie said it, he's been doing this in practice all year long. It was just an opportunity that he needed. TJ Yeldon, though, gives us another edge, catching the ball out of the backfield where you can trust him, and he can hit it up the middle. And we've lacked that. That's why you see the likes of Zach Moss on goal line positions. Zach Moss, when we're inside the 10-yard line, they don't really trust Singletary, which I think they should, but they don't. But you got the right thing to do is to go with the vet guy that's been inactive because why? You got Tywan Jones as the special teams guy, and you've got Singletary and Moss. It's a numbers thing. Now that the numbers have shifted, you gotta slide my guy in. Now it's gonna be who's hot and who's not at this point. And I think McDermott is gonna have a tough decision to make when it comes to the running back position. I have to trust that McDermott is gonna do the right thing, and he loves his veteran guys before the new guys. So the edge should go to TJ Yeldon, but we'll soon find out.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you guys here.
Oh shit! Okay, then.
I hate to do it. If Antonio Williams is the wrong thing, I don't want to be right. That's how I feel, man. I saw this guy. You got to look at the Jags, right? The Jacksonville Jaguars. They had James Robinson come in. Wasn't he undrafted? I believe he had over 1,000 yards. You can't just trust a draft.
Bring that back up, Jeff. Afterwards, go ahead. Keep going, Carl.
You can't just trust the draft stock or opportunities. TJ Yeldon's been on this team, like you said, for 2 years, right? And he's been inactive for how many weeks? He's a vet. You would think he would have had those opportunities already. They had to bring in a Tywan Jones. They had to, bring in a Frank Gore, bring in these people because they didn't trust him to be that guy. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying sometimes that hungriness, and I think that needs to be rewarded a little bit.
Hold on there, Carlton Speaks. Let me speak on something here, because TJ Yeldon is not a special teams guy. He's never been a special teams guy. Tywan Jones is. That's why Tywan Jones has the edge. That's number one. Number two, TJ Yeldon, although had some fumbling issues, so did Antonio Williams at UNC. That is why he's where he's at right now. So both these individuals have a history of putting the football on the turf. So this is where do you go with young-minded running back in Antonio Williams, which I do love and I think we all feel good about, or do you give it to the vet guy that's been in this game, that's learned his lesson and knows what he's doing? By the way, we've got 537 people in this bitch on a Sunday afternoon, and the Bills aren't even playing.
Yes, sir.
They
want Bills-centric preview talk.
I love that.
And Jay Mafia is coming in with the super chat.
Yes.
Talk D. We got beat in run and pass. What happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. Carlton, you can either agree or disagree with me. Frank Reich happened because Phillip Rivers, I didn't see that coming from him yesterday. I really did not think he was going to have the arm. Leslie Frazier was able to adapt enough to get the defense the win, but I did not see that winning. But looking at the rushing, they had 163 team rushing yards when Jonathan Taylor had 250 himself the week before. I was actually okay with the running game because it felt like to me that the Colts were trying to take the air out of the ball and time off the clock. So what concerned me more was the strength of our defense getting picked apart by Phillip Rivers and the passing defense. So will we see it again with Ben Roethlisberger if we play the Steelers next week? I don't know. Carlton, what do you feel?
So I feel this. I feel like we came into that game. Honestly, I think we started off the game a little too cute, right, with coaching. I think defense came in fully expecting heavy run, right? What we're not giving credit for is the Colts are one of the most balanced teams this year, right? Phillip Rivers, while he is old man Rivers, while his arm is not what it used to be, he still is able to dissect the defense, right? His mind is still the same. So what I saw from him is I didn't see him going deep at all. I saw him really
good. Keep going. He got
I got a little thrown off there. I didn't see him really, going deep at all. He had maybe two deep throws. One was a touchdown. It looked like he put his whole body into it, right? It took everything for him to get it there. Next step, I just saw him really dinking, dunking, and picking apart our defense there, which is, in a way, it looked like we were in a little more man defense zone usually. I think Leslie was trying to mix it up a little bit more. I didn't like what I saw from the pass defense. Run defense, I am 100% okay with that. I think that, when you limit a Jonathan Taylor to what he had, I'm okay with that. Going into next week, if we play if we play a Ravens or Titans, we're going to have to step that up because we know they're going to be heavy run. But if we play a Steelers, come on. I mean, are we scared of James Conner? I'm not. No. But we need to lock that back end up a little bit more.
Listen, Carlton's he's coming with it today.
Come on, let's talk about our red zone defense. Though that's where we shined.
We're definitely going to get there. My man Akeem Richards from BIB says, bringing up both. Williams is a north-south physical runner, but he's also an inexperienced rookie who haven't seen an NFL defense. You need Yeldon for pass protection and receiving on the back end. That's the thing, man. My man Yeldon gives us an advantage, that veteran advantage. He's been in the league. He's seen these things. And you've got to bring up the more experienced guy versus the young guy. Clay Troya. By the way, we can't disrespect you like that. Welcome, my guy, Clay Troya.
How's the voice, Clay? Thanks for jumping on the BF tailgate with that. I was super jealous when you showed me your seats, except for I was like, oh, he's sitting in the rock pile. Drew Gear's probably going to be there somewhere. So super jealous.
Yeah, it was pretty good. My throat hurts. I'm in a bit of pain, but yeah, it was pretty awesome. The seats were really good. It was honestly like watching the all 22 from the end zone cam. Oh, wow. So I had a really good view of a lot of the plays. I could see the plays developing and everything like that. It was really cool.
I will say this though, there's a comment earlier that Tua apparently is being shopped around potentially for the likes of Deshaun Watson. I don't know how truthful that is. I'm sure that's pure speculation, but I don't know about you guys, but I do not want to see Deshaun Watson in the AFC East. You can go anywhere else, but the AFC East, I want no part of that.
Before we get to that, Rico, let's get through these super chats and then we'll move on to the Tua. Mike, again, coming in, thank you very much. I'll take it a step further. I'd rather see Antonio Williams than Singletary. AW was like a cannon out there against a really good Miami D. There's a point to be made for that, Mike. Clay, what are you thinking about that?
Hey, Mike.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What was that one?
Antonio Williams over Singletary as RB1. With Moss out.
No, Singletary's going to be RB1. I mean, He's got the experience. I think Singletary played well yesterday. I don't think he had a bad game at all. He didn't get as many reps. I think Zach was getting the majority of the reps there in the game. But I think Singletary played a fine game. When he did get the opportunity to touch the ball, he played well, in my opinion. So he's RB1.
I'm going to second that with Clay when Singletary did get in the game. I think what it is too is running backs are they're a creature of getting more touches and targets. The more touches you get in the game, the more comfortable you are, the slower the game becomes, and you start to see where the weaknesses are. You talk to your O-line. Listen, man, that left side, that D-line is not doing it for me. Let's go to this side. Let's go to that side. So there is opportunities for Devin Singletary, and I feel like the more touches he gets, the warmer he gets, and the tired the defense gets. And now you know how slippery my man Singletary is. So there's no way in hell Antonio Williams is going to get RB1 over Singletary. That is rubbish, sir.
Now, let's get into that Tua talk. Here is the super chat. Thank you, Nick Jordan. Did you boys hear the rumor via Bleacher Report? There is a potential trade with Tua and other pieces for Deshaun Watson. Now, if you're the Houston Texans, you've pretty much already sold your franchise to the Miami Dolphins. Yeah. So keep that bad man in the AFC South, at least out of the AFC East. Do not let him get teamed up with Brian Flores. Please, no. God, no.
We can't have that.
I want no parts of Deshaun Watson ever again in life. I drove from Atlanta to Houston, man, to watch that game live. And when I tell you, I've never in my life seen a game where a quarterback has made a play like he made at the end of that playoff game last year. I don't ever want to see that again. That man is Michael Jordan on the court. I mean, on the field. He makes things happen that just shouldn't happen. And you give him weapons like I call them weapons. Devontae Parker and Mike Gesicki. You got other people there. He could turn them into, all pros. I'm scared of Deshaun. Keep him away from us. Bring him to the NFC. Give him to like San Fran or something like that. Let him be MVP over there. We don't need him in the AFC anymore.
No, I'm going to agree with that. I'm going to jump on this the super chat here by Jason Millard. It says, even with a healthy Milano, our weakness to cover tight ends showed again. A lot of missed tackles at the line of scrimmage. Now, I'm going to give this one to Clay because, Clay, you were saying sitting in the seats is kind of like, live all 22. What did it look like? Because Doyle was just killing us. 7 receptions for 70 yards. Speak on what you saw at the game and how it developed.
Yeah, so a lot of what they were doing, it was kind of a tale of two halves for Colts offense versus Bills defense. A lot of the first half, the Bills were running a lot of zone coverage, and Phillip Rivers was easily finding the soft spots in the zones. He's a veteran quarterback. He's going to be able to dissect it. Frank Reich was doing a great job. He did a great job scheming it up on both halves of the ball. And then second half, they switched it up. They were running a lot of man coverage. In situations like that, all they were doing really was running most of the guys off and running shallow crossers underneath, and they were just killing us on it all day. Those shallow and when you got big athletic tight ends like that, it's hard to put a linebacker on him. Even if it's Matt Milano, it's hard to put him on that and have him cover him all the way across the field like that. Even with a corner, if he gets a step on you and then he's a big guy out in front of you, it's hard to catch up to him and then be physical enough to get in front of him to bat the ball down and also be there to make the tackle if he catches it. We kind of saw that a little bit. There was one play, I think it was a 3rd and 9 or something like that, when Tre'Davious came up from behind Doyle to tackle him. He just couldn't get his arms around him to bat the ball down because he's such a big guy. It's hard to defend those guys. And when they schemed it up the way that they did, it makes it even harder.
You know what? I'm gonna and here, this is a question I had for the whole panel, and I'm glad Clay brought this up. They were doing shallow crosses, and so that being said, does that put us in a position that we were quote like exposed per se? Will teams now start to say, wait a minute, now there's that weakness that the Bills have? Although we love Milano, we love Trey Edmonds, and we love their athletic ability and their ability to cover, but if the Colts were able to do what they did to us yesterday, and the potential Steelers coming our way, and the matchups they have, I don't think it was who's the tight end with the Steelers right now. Ebron is an athletic tight end, so they might see something that the Colts did to us. Now, does that expose us? Do you think that that's what teams are going to start to look for when facing the Bills?
It depends on what the game plan was, what offensive coordinators see, what Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott were trying to do against the Colts, what they were willing to give up against the Colts. And I think that might have been what they were trying to give up. You saw them kind of try to bring pressure with only 3 or 4 a lot in this game. And I just can't see Buffalo saying that that's a weakness and not correcting it. So
right.
if that was not part of Leslie Frazier's game plan, then it's going to be corrected this week. So I don't think we have to worry about it.
Can I say that I don't think that our defense played that horribly? Am I wrong for saying that?
No, I don't think you are at all. I think it was really a field position game too. I think, the Colts started with great field position really early in that game. They were getting the ball at the 40-yard line, 35-yard line. And, we would let them get into the red zone where it's bend, don't break. That's our philosophy, right? So we're letting them get to that 5-yard line, and then we shut them down. I think the biggest thing is, we have to do a little bit more disguising going on, right? We're not getting pressure up front with the front four. Send a little disguise blitz. We weren't doing too much of that towards the end of the game. Then we saw some stuff happening. We saw like Teron Johnson coming on blitzes, just rushing Rivers to make some bad throws there. We need to see a little bit more of that. Man-to-man might not be our thing. That might not be our thing. We might not have the speed. We might not have the size to do that. I think we're a zone team, and we just have to disguise a little bit better. So I think we'll make the adjustments. I'm with Jeff there. I think, Leslie will make sure we're good to go next week.
Clay was shaking his head. I wasn't sure if Clay was shaking his head as in no, you're wrong, or yeah, you're
no. Yeah, he was right all the way there. And I don't think the reason we were getting exposed in man is because we really aren't a man team. I think the reason they started calling man was because Rivers was just finding every gap in the zone. And I don't think that, when teams might try to attack us with those shallow crossers again, but I think the Bills are going to be able to stop it with the regular zone defense that they run. Maybe the scheme will be a little different. There aren't many quarterbacks that have the tenure that Phillip Rivers has and the ability to, fit it into the gaps like he does. He was honestly, I think Rivers played a really good game, and the offensive line too. We saw that there was virtually no pressure on Rivers the whole game, and they pretty much had their way in the run defense, more so in the second half. I think they actually did a decent job stopping the run in the first half. It felt like it was a lot, but they really weren't giving up that many yards to a good running back in Jonathan Taylor there. So I think people might try to attack us with the shallow crossers, but if we're running our usual defense with more zone and things like that, I think we'll be fine.
I agree.
Got a super chat coming in here. We're talking about the defense specifically. I've been trying to slip this one in. Skyline 15. The D line needs some serious work, in my opinion. 0 sacks and allowing Rivers to throw all day is unacceptable. We need to get after the ball in pass game. Look, I think we've been touching on this, that they were bringing 3 and 4. They weren't doing a lot of blitzes that I saw. So it wasn't really on the front 4, because I think that was part of the game plan.
Yep, I agree. And I think we have to give credit where it's due. Indianapolis has maybe a top 5 offensive line, right? They're really, really good up front. They have all pros up there. They have Ryan, forgetting his name right now, the center.
Ryan Kelly is his name. And then Quentin Nelson to the left of him.
Right. And so we won't see an offensive line like that, I don't think, for the rest of the way. Maybe Pittsburgh is up there, but we're not going to see that type of pressure or that type of resistance. So maybe that might have been our plan too as well. Sometimes if you get too much push up front against a running team, they're going to find those holes and break them. So maybe we were just kind of standing a little bit more patient there, boxing out. I'm spitballing here. I'm hoping that I'm right, but I'm just hoping it was a situation where we just went against a great offensive line.
Well, listen, this team that we faced was not a slouch of a team. This team took down the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers, with Devontae. I think Devontae was playing that game, but that was a high scoring game. So this is not a slouch of a team. Like, we've been rolling over teams, and we've made it look easy. It's crazy stat. We've lost one game in the last 11 games, and that game that we lost was against the Cardinals. So let's not sleep on this Colts team. Top 10 offense, top 10 defense, and top 10 special teams. This team was a good team, man. So this was a barometer of what this team is made of. And I think that we were able to really showcase what we did against this team. And we came out and finished the game. We closed it, got the W, and got the heck out of Dodge. And then that's exactly what we wanted. Clay, I do got a question for you, my guy Clay. Is there a storyline that Bills fans and potentially the media is missing that happened in the game where you're like, we're not talking about this enough, and this should be garnering more attention?
I don't think I've seen enough about Beasley, because Beasley, that whole game, we were watching him go on this back to the sideline, back into the huddle. Every time he went to the sideline, I was like, I don't think he's coming back, because he's limping bad. He really looked like he was in a lot of pain that entire game. I don't think we've talked enough about him, because he had such a gutsy performance, because he would limp off the field, limp back on, and then get a key 11-yard reception for a first down. And I think that is not being talked about enough, because he really gutted it out. I was really impressed with him.
Listen, I'm going to agree with you on that one, because this guy was on. See, you're watching from the game, and by the way, I'm very jealous of you. By the way, that you
super jealous. I'm mad that you said that. I wish I didn't know.
I see that, but even from watching on TV, you see his face was grimacing, walking back and forth from the sideline. Even my wife was like, "Yo, who's that guy right there?" My daughter was like, "Who's that guy right there?" I was like, "That's Cole Beasley." And for some reason, she was like, "How old is he?" Because he looked like an old man walking back and forth. It's like, man's only 30, 31 years old. But he gutted it out, and he literally did what he was supposed to do, and that helped out. But here's a question for the panel. Did we hurt Beasley by putting him in this game? Was it necessary? Because now we've whether they told him that it's not going to get any worse, not going to get any better, but should we have just sat him and just gone with the game?
No. Playoffs. And we had this discussion on the BF tailgate before the game, is that how many snaps of Cole Beasley at 50% would be Duke Williams at 100%. And the general consensus was about 15 to 20 snaps of Cole Beasley is far better than Duke Williams. And I was ready to argue that one snap of Cole Beasley at 50% is better than Duke Williams, because it makes the defense accountable against Cole Beasley. So I'm about to set a nuclear bomb off in this room, I think.
My God, Jeff.
Cole Beasley was absolutely. It's the playoffs. If you can give me one snap in the playoffs, suit up. I want that one snap.
Now, you will think that I'm going to combat you on that. I'm not. Cole Beasley over Duke Williams in that slot position all day, every day. But I will not have any Duke Williams slander.
I'm not trying to slander Duke Williams.
Thank you, Rico. Thank you, man.
I'm just saying that Cole Beasley, and they are different. They are different receivers.
Absolutely. I'm teasing. I tease.
I totally get where you're coming from too, because if Duke Williams was able to be and make his way past the top 4 or 5 receivers that we have, the Bills would have done it already.
Right.
And that's where I come from.
That's true. I would have felt a lot more confident. I'm sorry, Jeff.
Go for it.
I feel a lot more confident if John Brown was 100%, right? I really didn't like what I saw from him. It could have just been a game plan type of thing, but he was kind of absent that game. You know, the one time we did throw to him off the hands, he might be a little rusty still coming off of it, but I think we need Cole right now. We really do. But who impressed me the most, who I want to talk about, my boy Gabe Davis. The 13 over there that you're wearing, Jeff. We got to rep my boy.
Stevie Johnson.
Hey, 13 is just
I had to throw the 13 on today for the rookie.
Got to throw the 13 on for it, man. Stevie was one of my favorites. Every Bills fan loves Stevie. We're right there. But Gabe, man, the savviness of a rookie. I mean, toe drag swag out the ass. I've never seen anything like that, to where, I mean, this man, well, let's not discredit Josh either. Josh has some crazy throws on those sideline passes he threw to Gabe. But the confidence and to throw to him, the savviness to get the feet in, as a rookie in a playoff game, and the first time in front of fans, I couldn't be more impressed with that. That's our wide receiver 2 of the future. I think he needs to hang as close as he can to Diggs. Just keep letting that soak up, be a sponge to him, take all that Diggs juice up. Sounds weird, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you.
And keep it rolling, man. I really, really was impressed with my man.
Now, before we move on, I'm going to bring in go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to do a super chat with the fans.
By all means, you do that.
We got a super chat from James FX90. Bro, those MVP chants when JA17 MVP gave me chills. Missed Bills Mafia in the stadium. And on TV, and Clay maybe be able to speak to this, but on TV, that looked like a hell of a lot more than 6,700 fans.
Yeah.
It sound like more than 6,000 fans. Full stadium.
It felt loud to me, and like every time there was a big play, anytime a big play happened, or anytime the Colts were lining up for a third down, the stadium was shaking a little bit. And I know a lot of my hands are a little beat up today because I was banging on the benches, and I know a lot of people around the stadium were banging on the seats. It felt pretty loud to me for 6,700 people, and every time there was a big play, there was a big burst of cheers from the crowd. Honestly, I was pretty impressed. The whole time for me, I was like, there's no way that we're making this much noise right now. It was pretty awesome.
So let me ask you this, though, because you're at the game, 6,700 people. The way that the protocols and the way that they made everybody enter the stadium and all that good stuff, is it possible that there's very much a possibility that we can bring in maybe like double that, maybe triple that? Can it be done, or was it just right to have the 6,700 people there?
I definitely think you could do more people. It was a really smooth, entry. I think if you were to do the same system of, seating, separation. So what they did, it was every other row was empty. So there was no one in the row behind you or the row in front of you. And then there were, 3 or 4 seats between each pod. So you were distanced from each pod next to you. And the entry was very easy. They had designated lots that you could park in. So we parked on one side of the stadium. They had you park over on the side where your tickets were. You had a designated gate that you would go to, a specific gate around the stadium, and you had a designated time. It was a 10-minute window when you could go through your gate. So it was really smooth. When it was our time to go, we got to our gate. There was maybe, a handful of other people that were even at the gate. I think when we got to our line, there were 2 people in front of us in the metal detector line. So we got right into the stadium, got right to our seats. It was a really smooth process. I think they could do the exact same thing that they did in the 100 and 200 levels, in the 300 levels as well. And I don't think it would be a problem at all. That
is news. That's news that we want to hear, because right now, it shows that Buffalo is able to respect the rules, respect protocol, and able to just get themselves in there. One thing
that's culture right there with McDermott.
Culture,
the process.
I like that. I'll let you read that super chat, and I'll jump in with my comment afterwards.
All right, still drunk. This team is something else. Young kids balling like veterans in Buffalo. Thank you, Mr. Bonsky. Rico, hit the bell.
Let me hit that bell. And right before I hit that bell for my guy Bonsky, I'm not sure what's going on with the audio a little bit, because every time you move forward, it cuts your audio out, Jeff. So just make sure that maybe it's plugged in all the way through. But you're good.
I got a wireless setup, so
yeah. But let me jump in on a couple of things I want to ask the crew. Here's the deal. A lot of people want to poo-poo on this defense. And my guy, by the way, I got to give a shout out to my guy, Eric Schmitty. What's going on, Schmitty?
What's going on, guys? Pleasure to be here. How y'all doing?
We're doing all right, man. So I'm going to put you on the spot because I'm going to jump you in here. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
We're talking about this defense. And a lot of all I've been hearing is our defense was crap. Our defense was this. We played a top 10 offense. The guy that's been burning every team in Jonathan Taylor, we held him to under 80 yards rushing, 3-point whatever yards a carry. So was the defense? Does the defense deserve more credit for what they did, or are they being justly poo-pooed by the fans, by Bills Mafia? What do you think, Eric?
Listen, I got to give you guys 2 sides of the coin on this one. I mean, the Bills defense, they didn't have a great day. They didn't have a terrible day either. This Colts team has beat good football teams this season. There's a reason why they were in the playoffs. Every team there is good. Now, I think that our safety tandem in Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer proved yesterday that they're the best safety tandem in the league, without a shadow of a doubt. There's no arguing that. I mean, everything they were doing in coverage, getting in the box, applying pressure on zone blitz. The safeties yesterday were incredible. Now, on the other side of the coin, our linebackers had a horrible day, in my opinion. Edmonds had some good plays. Milano was not good. His timing was off on blitzes. The Colts got a free play out of that on that, zone blitz when Milano was literally halfway across the line of scrimmage as the snap came out of the center's hands. But I think that people need to realize that it's got to be give and take. Okay, you can't just rip apart the Bills defense. You have to put it in context with not only that game, but the whole trends of the season as well. I mean, this Colts team beat Tennessee. So, I mean, they've beaten great teams.
Now, we have 50+ million tied into this D-line. 50 million. You mean to tell me that we couldn't lay a finger on Rivers?
Yeah, the D-line needs help. It absolutely does. It absolutely does. It needs help. And another thing I saw yesterday that was kind of weird, I don't know if anybody else noticed, but Epinesa was collapsing inside.
Was he? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, if you watch, Epinesa was collapsing inside, and it's a weird, quirky kind of trend. I want to go back and watch the All-22 because I don't understand why that was happening. I've never seen him do that in other games this season, but it just looked like Epinesa was just getting worked.
I did see him out there a lot, though. He was getting a lot of playing time this
yeah.
game. Which surprised me.
He was getting a lot of playing time. I think it was a little bit above. I think it was a little bit above him in the moment. And I think that he was going against some O-linemen that were a lot bigger and more physical than he was. And I think that's
Eric,
part of it.
That's my fear a little bit, man, with my boy Big Ed, Oliver, right? Oliver is disruptive. I just think he's out of position. I really would love to see him on the outside, maybe. Yeah. Or, maybe we're just missing star. Maybe somebody to clog up.
Even out of position, he's still good, though. And yesterday, I thought he was the most consistent of the bunch on the D-line, even at the wrong position.
Yep.
Now, I will say this, though. With this defense and having a guy like Phillip Rivers is not fleet of feet. He's not fleet of foot, excuse me. He's not getting out of the pocket. So he's forced to get rid of the ball quickly. So that's how you neutralize a very good aggressive pass rush, is that you get rid of the ball, and that's what he was doing. Now, why do you think Doyle got the ball so often on those quick, shallow routes? Because when we brought the blitz, they knew it was coming, and they protected it well. Now, and it's not that we didn't put pressure on them. We tried. We brought Milano up the middle. We brought Teron Johnson off the edge. Phillip Rivers, a savvy vet, he just knew. He's been around the game. He knew, okay, I got to get rid of the ball because now they've vacated a spot. That's where my tight end is going to take and replace. So I think that where the defense is getting a little less credit than what they should. I think they did well. I mean, listen, let's look up at that. Let's talk about that 4th down and goal. And Clay, you were at the game, first of all. How buzzing was that thing going?
Yeah, the 4th and goal, excuse me, the 4th and goal that you're talking about when the Colts didn't convert, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, that was, I think, the biggest momentum change of the entire game. Up until that point, the Colts pretty much had complete control of the game. They were winning the field position game battle. They were winning the time of possession. They were running the ball pretty effectively, at least getting 4 or 5 yards a pop, which was enough to get them driving down the field. And, they were really doing a very good job up until that point. After that didn't go for them. And then the Bills had a 2-minute drive to get into the end zone. And after that, the momentum was completely different. Even though it was going into halftime, the Bills got the ball coming out of halftime. And in that moment, you kind of felt like that was a really big moment because there was not that much time left in the half. And you see, if they could stop them here, they just got to go down and score, and then they get the ball back. And that's exactly what they did. And I think that for morale was just huge for the team.
Oh yeah,
it was 96 yards in 92 seconds.
Yeah, that was the game right there. That swing, that was the game. That's what wanted to.
Let's get through some super chats here. We've been sitting on this one. Believers talk, bring on Baltimore, Tennessee, or Pittsburgh. This team knows they need to improve and next week. Now, the 3 of us up top talked about who we wanted to see. Eric and Clay, give us quickly about who you would want to see among those 3 teams that we could be playing.
I think I want to see the Steelers, and I'm going to come at this from a different tack. It's not just because we've played them before, but both Rivers and Roethlisberger get the ball out quickly. I think Rivers was getting it out yesterday in like 2.2, 2.4 seconds, somewhere in that time frame. I want to see if our defense can adjust in order to play that well again. Now, there is a difference. The Colts throw a lot to their tight ends. Pittsburgh doesn't. So that's going to be a little bit of a weird quirk in that sense. But I want to see if the Bills can readjust their defense and kind of have that effective game plan again against the Steelers. I also think that it's an easier matchup, but I didn't want to go with that tack because that's tired.
For me, it's Steelers 1, Ravens 2, Titans 3. I just think the Titans have a more well-rounded offense, and that scares me more than the Steelers, who I think are more one-dimensional. They can't really run the ball that well. The Ravens are more one-dimensional in the other direction. They can only really run the ball well. They're not that great of a passing team. So I'd rather be playing more of a one-dimensional offense than the Titans, who are a little more well-rounded.
All right, guys, I'm going to disappear. Switch my mic since it sounds.
Yep. Go ahead and do
You
that.
guys are.
Rico, can we bring up that last comment? I don't know if you can. There was one there that said something about
which one was it? What by who?
It said Baltimore. Like they think it'll be a Buffalo-Baltimore matchup in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, they were calling the Ravens beat KC. Yeah, Ravens beat. Yeah.
So, Mike, I like this take right here, and it just made me think of something here. If for whatever reason KC loses next round, right? Doesn't that mean 3 home games for the Bills?
Yeah.
Right. The AFC Championship in Buffalo. Imagine the Bills Mafia carrying the Bills to a Super Bowl. Just let that sink in.
Yeah.
That would be an amazing journey right there for that to happen. And I think the fans not being in the crowd, Clay, you can speak to this, for them not being there all year and all season, it's such an added advantage for us to come now. So like the players are almost, you could just tell they're feeding off it. Like, wow, this is what it's like. For Diggs to finally see Bills Mafia in the wild card weekend. Think about that. Like he's going to show off. So like that gives us a certain type of juice now where it's like, let's not just, show off for our fans, but like they got to come into this environment now. And I think if we're going to beat a team like Baltimore or Tennessee, like we have to do it in our house. We have to do it in our house.
Right. And then what do you guys think of this? I mean, can you theoretically, Clay, what do you think about the protocols? Do you think the fans from the first game, correct me if I'm wrong, can't go to the second game because of the quarantining procedures? So if the AFC Championship's in Buffalo, can the group of fans from the first game, which would have been the one you just went to, go to the AFC Championship game? And then maybe can you get Cuomo to sign off on combining the two groups?
That's interesting.
So that you have, and I'm too hopped up on coffee to do math right now. But like 15,000 fans.
Yeah, so what it was is it all went based on season ticket holder seniority. So the guys who had the season ticket holders longer got the first windows to select their tickets. And then, it goes down from there. They keep on giving windows for those season ticket holders.
Okay.
The fewer years that you've had the season tickets under your name, or at least under that account, whether it's passed down from family to family, it's still the same account. So you still have the seniority on it. So anyone who chose to go to this game will not be allowed to go to the next game just because they want to give season ticket holders, all season ticket holders, the opportunity if it's there. So everyone who either elected not to go to the last game or didn't make it to the selection process because the tickets were gone, those people are going to have the opportunity this week. Tickets actually are on sale now for season ticket holders. They went on sale this morning for the people that are in the 200 section club seats. And now it'll just go down the list, and anyone who's left over from both of these games, they'll get the opportunity if the AFC Championship is in Buffalo, and then I think it'll recycle back to those who have top seniority again. Will get the chance once all those season ticket members have run out.
That was a fantastic question, Eric, because that's something that we had no idea. Because I was wondering, like, how are they going to like divvy up on who gets a chance to go and cross contaminating, if you will, with certain people that were there and coming back. So that makes a lot of sense.
And the thing is, too, is you're going to have to test a couple days before the game, and the test is going to have to show up negative in order for you to get in. Excuse me. Sorry,
all that screaming, man. All that yelling.
man.
Yeah. But you're going to have to test negative in order to get into the stadium regardless. We had to show our negative tests before we got into the stadium. As we're walking in before we got to the gate, we had to show proof of a negative test. So you're going to have to test regardless. So I think I don't think cross-contamination will be too much of a problem because in order to get into the stadium, you're going to have to test negative regardless.
Can I add something? I thought it was super cool for people to say, hey, I'm excited. I'm negative. I get to go to the game. Then I felt it kind of cringeworthy when people are like, I'm positive. I can't go. Not that it's a bad thing. I mean, some people might say it's inevitable that you're going to get it. Maybe not. But like now you're putting your stuff out there. And I just thought that was like kind of strange. But I also understood that people were just so excited to say, I get to go to the game. I'm ready to go. But I felt bad somewhat for those that weren't able to go to the game due to the fact that they had contracted the COVID-19. So I'm hoping that they're recovering, obviously. But I was like, oh, maybe you should keep that to yourself and then just a moment. But it is what it is.
I do love the COVID voice you did there. You're like, oh, I can't go.
Sorry, I can't get
oh, sorry, guys.
I will say this, though. I'm going to ask Eric and Clay. We had this conversation earlier, and I'm not sure if you guys got into it, but we were talking about the running back position and what Coach McDermott potentially should do, or what pretty much what McDermott is going to do with this vacancy at running back with Zach Moss's unfortunate injury. TJ Yeldon, the veteran, or go with Antonio Williams, the new shiny new toy that's in Buffalo that did a hell of a job in Week 17 that really showcased himself. What are your thoughts? I'm going to start with Clay, and then I'm going to move over to my guy Eric.
Yeah, so I joined in at the very end of this conversation. Talking about Singletary's obviously going to be the number one back. What I would be interested to see is if they try to free up a position to get both of those guys in there, because you're not. I don't think you really know what you're going to get out of either of them at this point. Yeldon hasn't really taken a lot of snaps in a long time in an NFL game, and Antonio Williams, you just don't know what he's got yet because he hasn't shown much, except he did play really well in that Miami game. He was running really hard, and I was very happy to see that. Maybe if you can get both of those guys in there, if you can find a place to take someone off the active roster at another position and get them in there at the running back position, I think they have position groups where maybe they can sacrifice one guy in order to kind of make up for this group where they're a little bit weaker.
Okay, Eric, you're going to jump in then, and I'm going to follow up with the whole panel with a question here. Go ahead, Eric.
All right, so first, to start this off, I'm mad at the Bills' run game. I got big issues with the Bills' run game. It's a huge problem for me. I think I almost had a stroke yesterday, freaking out about this run game. But I like Clay's point. If you can try and find a way to get them both up, that's probably the best overall possible solution. I don't know what the likelihood of that is. Maybe you send down Tywan Jones, but how much does that hit special teams? I do like the point that Yeldon is not, he's conditioned, but he's not game conditioned. He is a better pass threat. I'll concede that, but I don't think that they need that. What I think that is if you have to choose between one or the other, bring up Williams, and here's why. I think Williams fits the persona of this team better than TJ Yeldon does, plain and simple.
Yes.
He also has more speed than TJ Yeldon does at his age and more power. So you have more capability than you do limitations with Williams versus Yeldon. Okay. So if you made me choose, I'm choosing Williams.
Okay. And I'm okay with either one, but Clay mentioned something that was very interesting. Bring up both, but you gotta deactivate someone. If you're going to deactivate someone on this roster, whether on the offense or defense, what position group are you deactivating from? It doesn't really matter who, but you could say who, in order for you to get both Yeldon and Antonio Williams. I'm going to start with you, Jeff. Jeff, who would you
first of all, Mike checked. Is that better, guys?
Mike check sounds great.
All right. That sounds better. I'm trying to go back through the Bills PR Twitter account to go back to the inactives yesterday to find out. Here it is. Your inactives yesterday. Of course, you had Fromm. Yeldon was inactive. Tyrell Dodson, Jordan Devey, Tyler Croft, Duke Williams, Trent Murphy. So you go back and you look at what other position group do you want to pull from? Who do you want to pull from in order to get Antonio Williams and or TJ Williams or TJ Yeldon both on the field? You're not going to pull from the linebackers. You only had 3 running backs active yesterday. You don't want to pull from the offensive line, although Ty and Secchi might be the one guy. But with the NFL COVID rules, you can pull up extra people as long as they're offensive linemen. So I don't think you're going to mess with the offensive line. Defensive line, you could probably pull. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys listed under defensive line. But some of those guys are going to be your special teams for place kicks. I don't know where you pull from this team.
It's tough.
I wouldn't be able to make that decision if I were McDermott.
You have to bring up Stills too next week.
Listen,
he's emergency. He's break glass in case of emergency right now. He's been in the locker room a week. He's break glass in case of emergency. I don't think the Bills are going to activate him unless something tragic happens.
But there's no film on him. He's a secret weapon, in my opinion.
I mean, listen. Let's put it this way. I put you guys in that position for a reason, because that's the decisions that coaches have to make. And we like to say we should do this and that and all that. Listen, we're not paid to do those things. We don't have the the information for us to do those things. So it'll be very interesting on what happens. Chances are McDermott plays it safe. He gives me all the conservative vibes, where he might just say, veteran guy comes in. But Clay got me thinking of, like, if we're gonna make something happen, who do we do? Who do we get rid of, or who do we deactivate? Do we just go with 2 tight ends instead of 3, and then bring up an extra running back? That could be one way of looking at it. But let's put that. What do we call it? Let's put a cap on it. We'll put it aside, and then we'll move on to the next one. So I've got to bring up two individuals and 2 topics that I want to touch on, and I need everyone's thoughts on this. How big and how clutch was special teams and Tyler Bass, rookie kicker, making a 54-yard boot? It looked far from for me on TV, but in the stands, I don't know if he just crushed it. I'll let Clay touch on that in just a moment. And how big was having a guy like Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis on the roster? And what does it mean for John Brown's future? Let's start off with special teams. Bojo was amazing. I want to say amazing. He was great. He was awesome. And Tyler Bass, though. Clay, let's touch on you, because you were at the game, and then we'll move around from Eric and then move up. So Tyler Bass, let's talk on it.
Yeah, Tyler Bass was awesome. I mean, that kick, we had to do the math in our head, because we don't know how long the field goal is going to be. So we're like, this is kind of a long field goal. But he was kicking it our direction. I was in the end zone, so it's hard to tell distance. And I could see if it's going through the uprights, because I was pretty much right behind one of the posts. But we were kind of holding our breath, because we knew it was a long field goal. It wasn't on the hash that he likes either. He prefers to be on the left hash as opposed to the right hash. So I'm like, it's not the hash that he likes. It's a really long field goal. I don't know. When he kicked that through, that was awesome. And to see him fired up too, I really like that. He was showing
got the shot out from Pat McAfee.
Yeah, and by the way, I think that was after he had already made a nice tackle on special teams. The dude had just hurdled somebody. He had just hurdled somebody. He tried to hurdle Bass. Bass kind of kicked it into gear and really went for the dude, and he kind of hit that. Yeah, it was awesome to see. And yeah, Bojo too. He had one that was a little bit of a shank, but other than that, he played well.
And I will say this though, because having a young kicker get the guts to make a kick like that, amazing. So Eric, what are your thoughts on Tyler Bass?
I thought he was impressive, especially he hadn't kicked too many long pressure-packed field goals in the previous weeks, in the recent previous weeks. But I thought he did great yesterday. I think he's an intense presence for the special teams. Bojo really impresses me with his leg power, how much air he can put under the ball. And I think him and Bass might be working on some things in terms of putting air under the ball, because there's been a couple times this season where Bass has put a lot of air under the ball on kickoff. And what ends up happening is that ball's sitting up there and hanging, and the returner's got to wait for it. And by the time he waits for it, the gunners are right there. I mean, we've seen that a bunch of times. I mean, Daryl Johnson, he's made some big hits gunning on kickoffs. That Bass put a ton of air under. So I've been impressed with both of our legs, both Buffalo legs.
I like that. I like that. My man Carlton, speak on Tyler Bass, man. What are your thoughts?
Man, let's talk about Tyler. So we got a nickname for Tyler. We call him Bobby Bass. I don't know why, but it just flows. He's like, that's my boy Bobby Bass over there, right? So,
all right.
Week 1 and 2, I'll be honest with you. I was the first guy to want him out of town. I was like, get him out. He's a rookie. He's young. He had no offseason. He had no preseason. He's not ready. In the playoffs, he's going to cost us a game. I swear. All year, man, this guy has just grown on me and grown on me and grown on me. And I mean, to the point where he had the most points for the Bills player ever?
141 points, man.
Come on, man. For us to have a young guy who shows fire, like you said, putting his flex, showing the guns off after he scores, that's the swagger you don't see with a kicker, man. Coming out of Georgia Southern too. He's a Georgia boy. You know what I mean? Like he's probably in my top 5 favorite Bills right now. The little you can't sleep on the little Nelly Band-Aid, the little one eye.
Top 5 favorite Bills right now? Tyler Bass?
I'm not kidding, man.
Get the jersey.
I have that much confidence. He's got the Christie number 2 on, man. That guy, I'm telling you, he's going to be around for a long time.
I'm trying to pull up the stats here, and it's set in a table. So it looks like he's only missed 1 extra point since the Raiders game where he missed one, and that was against the Steelers. And he's only missed 1 kick. He missed 1 kick in the Seattle game, and that was a 50-plus yarder. And other than that, he's made everything else since. So, and they're not kicking very much close to the goal line. No kicks, obviously, from 1 to 19 yards, but everything inside 20 to 29 yards. He hasn't missed that at all this season. He's 6 of 9 from 30 to 39, 8 of 9 from 40 to 49, and 4 of 6 from 50 plus. So he's been on an absolute tear. He's only missed 1 extra point. That was against the Steelers game since the Raiders game, and just 1 kick of 50 plus that he's missed. So, like Brandon Bean said, they gave the kid the value, so why not take a shot on him in the draft? And if you can supplant house money, I was pretty happy. And to all and I'm going to call you a hater on Tyler Bass for the first 2 weeks because that is not the process. If you're going to have a kid miss a few kicks, it's going to be in games you're going to win against the Jets and against the Dolphins. Let him settle in. Like you said, he had no preseason. So guess what? His preseason was the first 8 weeks of the year. Now he's worked through some of those issues. And really, that Jets game, Bojo didn't spin the ball for him. He kicked the laces on the one that he missed. The other one that he missed in that game went over the top of the upright. It should have been a good kick, but it's just a miss by the written letter of the rule. That should have been a good kick. Now, I don't know if you guys want to backtrack by letter of the rule. How asinine was that fumble call yesterday?
Oh my God!
Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? And before we talk about it, I gotta put this guy on blast because he's a supporter, but he's a Ravens guy. He says 25 years to get a division championship banner. Joke, Bills. Boy, please
don't even get me started. Oh,
get out of here!
Listen, man, I just want to give him that shine because you don't want the Bills. I'm gonna tell you that right now, and then you better come on to the show. Anyways, I'm gonna let it. Let me let that be. Let me let that slide.
You about to go full promo mode?
Right? No, I'm not gonna do it. So we were just about to touch on that fumble. So let's talk about that fumble. I personally didn't see it. Why? Because I was so pissed off with the reception of Pascal in the first place. I put my head down, and then I heard what? I heard some cheering, and I saw the fumble happen. So how with your own eyes, how could you not see the receiver is up and ready to make a football move, then the ball coming out clearly after? What is it that the refs could not see? And should an abysmal play call like that, a rep be fined, suspended? What are your thoughts? I'll start with Eric, and I'll move over to Clay, and I'll move up.
I mean, I saw Rico tweet at some point during the game, I haven't screamed at my TV in so long or something like that. Yeah. And when the fumble call happened, I went from mostly composed the whole game to a complete nuclear detonation in my living room. I mean, there was almost party fouls. My dogs were going insane. It was bad. My thought is that the referees or the people in New York that evaluated this call, if it even went that far, there should be fines. I mean, it's bad when, all of the officiating, commentators that are on the broadcast, every single one of them, even ones who aren't doing the Bills game, are going on Twitter to blast it. And it's shocking to me. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, Ficta Elmore Eye Care Associates, they're offering LASIK to that referee, and it's like, we might actually need that, or we might need like an ethics review.
My goodness.
To me, we might actually need an ethics review, like the NFL leadership that handles ethics and game integrity. I actually want to see them get involved. You know what? I retract my statement. I don't want to fine. I want an ethics investigation.
There you go.
Into those referees.
I retract. I want this instead.
I'm gonna play the voice of opposite reason on this one, because I am a high school varsity basketball referee, and the National Federation of High School Basketball rulebook is about as thick as this finger. All right. Now you take the NFL rulebook; it's gonna be about as thick as my 4 fingers. And if there's anybody who knows the rules better than anybody else, it's actually going to be the referees. I make this argument constantly through high school basketball that you don't know what a travel is because you haven't read the rule book. Now, I'm a Bills fan, and I think they fucking missed the call. I do. I think they blew the call because we all saw it with our own eyes. Now, the referees have to go within the rule book. There's not going to be an ethics investigation. There's just not. That's not the way that the referees union is going to work, that the NFL is going to do that to their referees. They missed a call. And I will use this a referee example with the process all the time. If the referee spots a ball a foot short of where it was, get over it. Move on. Make the next play. Go on to make the next play, because referees will miss a travel call just the same way as basketball players will miss field goals. It's in the moment. The referees in that spot had to go by what was in the rule book, and I thought it was shitty. And here I am, because I have the eye of a referee and kind of the understanding of that angle. Now I'm fired up as a Bills fan as well, but the referees went back, and it's ultimately it's on the process of going to New York, because New York took away the ability of, I think it was Brad Allen was the referee yesterday, to look at that review and say, no, I think my guys were wrong. But New York, we don't know what that call is like with New York. We don't know what is going on in that review. When the NBA goes to a review, they will show the inside of the NBA Review Center. We never get that from the NFL. Now, right. That's where the questionable stuff comes in, is why couldn't you overturn it? And the NFL officiating Twitter account tried to justify it yesterday, and it was just a shitty justification. So I don't like the fumble call, but I understand that the referees have to operate within a certain procedural manual, and they still blew it.
Shout out to my guy, the ref. I think I'm going to change it to the ref, because right now you just gave us on the ref side of how things go. But at the end of the day, we saw what happened. Yep. So
yes.
The fact of the matter is this, and Clayton Blount said it. It wasn't about the call. We saw what was happening. Is the fact that nobody stopped it. It's within 2 minutes. Anything that is controversial, y'all should be stopping and wait a second.
The Colts rushed to the line. Did they not? And McDermott had to get that timeout in. God, they had, and that right there is the move by Sean McDermott of the year. I think getting that timeout in to make sure that they had time to buzz in. So
if he loses his composure there and doesn't call that timeout, if he's going wild on the sideline, doesn't call that timeout, that's old. There's no going back.
I like that. Clay, you were at the game. By the way, Ref Landers, I really like Ref Landers.
That's good.
Clay, you talked to us because you were at the game. So you get to see the Jumbotron. You get to see all that stuff. How was the fan reaction? And of course, your reaction to how this whole thing could have been botched if not for a timeout from McDermott?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I couldn't see the fumble happen because from my perspective, the ball was kind of behind Milano and Pascal the whole time, so I didn't even see it pop out. I just saw guys running around, and then Bill's celebrating like we had the ball. So I was like, "What is going on?" And then when they started, when we saw the replay of it, and Bill's players thought that we had the ball. And I had no idea what was going on because I'm like, why are they not reviewing this? We're within 2 minutes. This should be a reviewed play. So that was the first thing that made me upset. And then even though we're not watching this, in our couch on a big TV in 4K and everything, we could tell from just watching it on the Jumbotron, his knee was up before the hand was on the back. They showed us every angle in the stadium. They showed us like 4 angles in the stadium. Everyone in that stadium knew that was a catch. He got up and then he fumbled, and it was pretty obvious to us. So I don't know how they messed it up when they're under the hood and look at everything. I understand that the rule is if it's inconclusive, you have to go with what stands on the field. First of all, I think they made a bad call on the field. Second of all, it was close, but if you freeze frame it at the right time, the knee's up, the hand's not on the back yet. It should have been an easy call, but they overcame it, I guess. But if that was a game changing decision,
what are we saying if they lose because of that?
No, that's not the process. That is not the culture that Sean McDermott has instilled in this team, is to blame a loss like that on the refs. I'm sorry. No, if it could be the most egregious error we've ever seen, you still have a next play, a next opportunity to go out and win. Overcome,
and they did
adjust,
it, to your point.
Adjust, persevere, overcome. APO, Josh Allen, his APO, adjust, persevere, overcome. I'm not justifying the refs. I think they were wrong. I think they blew it. But when you're Josh Allen, you're the defense, move on to the next play. That's the culture McDermott has put into this team, and they did it. They got the job done. They adjusted, persevered, and overcame, and finally knocked down a Hail Mary pass.
I love it. I love it.
Ref Lander.
I'm gonna drink some process juice after that one.
Now we have about just under 10 minutes before 1 o'clock, and I want to let you guys go and watch the game. I want to bring one more topic up, and then we're going to talk about yesterday's game, score predictions, and then the rest of this afternoon's games. Right. So Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. I need to touch on those two guys because and John Brown, the three. Because I feel that it was an audition. I've been saying it for a long time that it was an audition when John Brown went down, unfortunately, for Gabe Davis to see what he can do, how he gels with the receiving core, and how he gels with our guy Josh Allen. And time and time again, he's been proving it as the games go that he's been getting better and getting better and getting better. And yesterday's game, what I think he had 4 receptions for 80 yards or something of that nature. And dude was unreal. So I'm putting up to the panel here. John Brown, is John Brown in a position where we might have to depart? We might have to part ways with John Brown with the emergence of Gabe Davis. I'll start with Jeff, Ref Landers.
Okay, so with this is the rock and a hard spot, Rico, because of the declining salary cap for next year. If you're Brandon Beane, you have to look at what is the financial number that we can keep John Brown at. Now, maybe you can get a deal done, maybe an extension where he takes a cut this year, but I'm all in the favor of the depth we have in our wide receiver room with Diggs, Brown, Beasley, now Gabe Davis coming on. You still have rookie Isaiah Hodgins, who is on IR. I'm all for keeping Smoke. He has the best connection with Josh Allen because remember, Cole Beasley didn't have an offseason in 2019, so it was basically Josh Allen and John Brown in 2019 when they first came in. I'm all about keeping him and having as many weapons for Josh Allen to fire to.
I got to jump in here.
Jump in there.
Go for it.
He had the best connection with Josh Allen until my boy number 14 came into town. And if you see him in Diggs, that's the best 1-2 punch in the league right now.
And even 13.
Monte. And 13. Okay, let's touch on 13. We can't disrespect John Brown that much. He was our number 1 receiver all last year, heading to the playoffs.
Or Bees.
It was Clay, what are your thoughts on that? Gabe Davis, John Brown, the whole shebang.
Yeah, John Brown definitely used to be the guy. And so the thing that you can tell when a quarterback and his wide receiver are connected is what happens when the play breaks down. Where are those two guys? Are they on the same page? Can they make a play together? And earlier in the season, it was still Brown was the safety blanket for Josh Allen. You know, if he was rolling out of the pocket, John Brown was the guy that was getting into his vision in the scramble drill, and he was really good at it. He was one of the best guys at it. He did it all last year as well, and he was fantastic at it. We've seen now later in the season that Diggs is now the guy to do that, and he's doing it effectively. The touchdown pass against the Patriots, where Josh Allen was rolling out to the left, made an amazing throw across his body, and Diggs made the diving touchdown catch. That was an improvised play. That was completely off script for both of those guys. The play that we saw where Josh Allen did a pump fake and then rolled out to the outside, hit Diggs on the sideline. That was an improvised play. That was off script. And so Stephon Diggs is now that guy where if things start to break down, he knows where to go to get into Josh's vision, and he knows where Josh is going to look so that he's available if he decides to throw the ball downfield.
But it's a collective. It's a unit, because when you remove one of those pieces, you're not stretching the defenses enough. Is Gabe Davis going to be enough if they do move on from John Brown? Is the collective unit going to be enough to stretch that defense? Because when you have Diggs, you have Brown on the outside, you can put Davis anywhere you want. You got Beasley on the inside. You're taxing the secondary. So will it be enough to save that $8 million on John Brown? And I don't know.
Yeah. And can you add layers to the Isaiah McKenzie and Dawson Knox onion? Are they primed for elevation? Are they primed for increased development? I mean, Knox was 100% on catches yesterday. That's an important milestone for him, given his drop history in the past.
Yeah, for sure.
I love the Shrek reference. Love it.
Well, if you like references, here's a reference for you. The Nature Boy. I'm a big wrestling guy. The Nature Boy he had a line: "To be the man, you got to beat the man." And John Brown, you got beat out by Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is the new guy in town. To be the man, you got to beat the man. And now, Stephon Diggs is that dude. So John Brown now might be looking from the outside in.
And this is part of being a good team too. It's part of being a good team. I mean, I'm hearing my oldest daughter, giving me the tranquil, singing the Frozen, let it go, let it go. I'm hearing that in my head. The smoke's got to clear. I'm sorry. I love you, John Brown, but I think in the offseason we got to move onward and upward. Decisions have to be made. This is what good teams have to do, especially with cap issues, with the cap going down next year. You got to pay Allen. You're going to have to pay other players. I mean, I think it's going to be a necessary sacrifice. Unfortunately, I don't like it, but it's just the reality.
It is a reality. Now we got to talk about the reality of the games that are happening today. We got a few minutes left. We've got the Ravens. And actually, you have the. Oh, you know what, Jeff? You take over. I'm sure you have it all set up. So,
no, I actually don't have all my helmets. Okay. Clay, you missed out on picking the helmets yesterday.
I did see that Nap Stash did a good job, though. So
yes, Nap Stash. But I live here in Eastern Idaho Falls, Idaho. I worked in sports television here for 10 years. I know Taysom Hill's high school football coach. I could call him up right now and have a conversation. So y'all take the hate off my boy Taysom's name. He's the heir apparent to Drew Brees. Whether you like it or not, they're going to roll with him. And I got the Saints. I mean, I know they're playing the Bears, so it shouldn't be that much of a challenge for them. But I got the Saints rolling into the next round of the playoffs.
All right. Okay, you got the Saints. Okay, well, let's talk about it. So Saints, who the Saints playing? The Saints and the Bears. Carlin, who do you got?
I got to go Saints there too, man. I think Kamara's on fire right now. Their offense is on fire. They're getting things rolling at the same time. I'd never bet against Sean Payton, especially in the playoffs. I think he's going to go ahead. And I got friends on both sides. I got friends who are hardcore New Orleans fans, and I got some hardcore Bears fans. And I hate to disappoint them right now, but I can't trust Trubisky.
Before I jump out there, Caitlin Buss says you guys will be praising John Brown later in the Super Bowl run. Don't sleep on Smoke.
Caitlin, you're right.
Come through.
I'm not knocking him though. I'm not knocking him though, Caitlin. Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the John Brown dance.
So, Clay, who you got? Saints, Bears.
Saints, pretty easy for me. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky's the other quarterback. So
yeah, there you go. I'm going Saints as well. Who do we got? Browns, Steelers.
Hey, well, I didn't get my Saints pick.
Oh, my bad. Saints. My man Smitty. Who do you got? Saints, Bears.
Bears.
You lying?
No, I'm telling you. There's going to be a blown call that's going to screw over the Saints again.
Oh.
And I think Brees is going to go out with another rib injury again.
Oh, that's terrible.
Wow. Okay. I mean, Mac is the boy. That boy's a beast, man. So you never know. He could change the game. Browns Steelers. Jeff Landers, you got.
Oh, I know what I want to happen, but I don't think the Browns can beat the Steelers because, I just because the Browns fan base is similar position to us. They finally broke the drought, but I also think they should wait another 3 years to win a playoff game to join us on that wagon. But like I said earlier in the show, Steelers fans were throwing shade at Bills fans already. So I don't think the Browns can win without having their head coach in the stadium. You know, that's such a big challenge to overcome. The Steelers are going to win that one.
Steelers got it. What do you got, Carl?
I mean, the Browns have been they've had like this unsung confidence that they didn't deserve for a few years now. But I'm going to be honest, I think they actually upset the Steelers today. Coming off week 17, they got a little confidence there. They know they can hang with the Steelers, even though it was Mason Rudolph and not Big Ben. I mean, is Big Ben really Big Ben? You know, we don't know. We haven't seen them in the playoffs in a few years. I'm calling a big game for Chubb and Hunt. Coach displaced, doesn't matter. They're going to come out and pull out a close win.
Damn. Okay. Eric, what do you got?
I got to go with the Steelers here. Similar to what Carlton said about Sean Payton, I can't go against Mike Tomlin in the playoffs. You know, he's one of the best to ever do it out there. I just don't think that the Browns, I mean, they do have a lot of confidence, and I will give them credit. They have a really dangerous run game, and they're a good team. But I think they're just too broke up right now by COVID.
You might have a point there. Clay, what do you got, man? Steelers?
I got the Steelers as well. COVID issues for the Browns. His first playoff game. Lights might be a little bright for him. I can't see him pulling it out.
Yeah, and you know what? Although I want if coaching and COVID was not involved in this game, I would have picked the Cleveland Browns to take over. I just think that they're that much more hungry. And the fact that they took them down week 17 kind of gave them a little momentum and juice. But with this COVID thing and not having your head coach, that makes things a little different. So I'm going to take the Steelers in this game to take it. So last but not least, Ravens Titans. Let's start with Clay. Clay, Ravens Titans. Before you do, cold beer, hot wings, Bills football. Enough said. Let's go. I like that. Clay, Titans, Ravens.
I'm going to go with the Titans. I just think they're the better all-around team. The Ravens are okay. I really have problems trusting a Greg Roman offense. And I think the Titans are just a better all-around team.
Really?
I know.
Where did that come from?
Greg Roman trauma. This is good.
All right. Schmitty, what do you got?
I have the Titans also. I just think that they're similarly to Clay, I think they're a more effective overall team. But they can't be suffering these issues that they have sometimes this year where they just get out of sync, especially on special teams, missing kicks and all kinds of stuff like that. And, Lamar is just not the same to me this year. Not that he's not good. It's just I think that the Titans will be able to be more effective.
I like that. I'm okay with that. That's a good answer.
Not a bad answer at all. Titans have been well-rounded. They're tough, and I want to see them next round. So my heart is telling me let the Titans win so they can come to us. But I got something with the Ravens, man. They've been on fire lately. Have you watched them? Lamar, Hollywood Brown, they're showing out a little bit. I think they get an upset win right here. Even though they're higher seed, I'm giving the Ravens the win right now. All
right, Jeff. Let me have it, man.
Ravens are 6-2 on the road, and let me ask you guys a question: who beat the Ravens in the playoffs last year? This is revenge game in the other stadium. It has it written all over it. That's the psychology of football that I love to talk about. What I actually think Sean McDermott is a master at the psychology of humans playing football, and I think John Harbaugh is going to have his team weaponized to go in there and just lay a massive revenge game on the Titans. They can stop Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is not infallible, nor is Ryan Tannehill. The Titans are the better overall team, but I think revenge is on Baltimore's mind. I'm taking the Ravens.
Revenge. What did they say? Revenge is a dish best served
cold.
Warm. Is it lukewarm?
Cold. Yeah. The Titans have a worse pass rush than the Bills too. So I mean, I do. Now that I remember that, I worry about that now for them.
Now, when it comes to the Titans and Ravens game, I'm more looking at who would I rather have the Titans face in the AFC Championship. Excuse me, not the AFC Championship. Who would I rather the Chiefs face? When it becomes, is it the Ravens I'd rather them face or the Titans? So to me, it's a toss up. The Ravens defense is not what the Ravens defense used to be. They're just not that. And if you get ahead of the Ravens, although, I mean, my guy gave us a good rendition of it when he had to take a bathroom break, came back and got the guys to win the game, whether it was cramps in his legs or he had to go for a little bathroom break. Who knows? But I'm going to give it to the Titans to take it. I think Tannehill is way better than people give credit for. The guy's been a 4,000-yard passer even when he was with the Dolphins, right? So we should not be shocked as to what he's doing with a team that's vamped up with the Ole Miss receiver, Brown. You got Jonnu Smith, and you got a good squad, man. So I'm going to give the Titans the win on this one. So, gentlemen, that's our time. I want to give everybody a chance to kind of sign out and give them where they can find you. Clay, we're going to start with you. Where can people find you? What's going on with you? Let them know.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Clay Troy. Come talk Bills with me. Love to talk with everybody about stuff like that. You can also find me. I have a podcast, the Buffalo Counterpoint podcast, waiting to find out who our opponent is. And then as soon as we do, I'm going to find someone that runs a podcast as a fan or a reporter for that team, and I'm going to bring them on, and we're going to talk about the matchup. And you can find that anywhere you can find a podcast, Apple, Spotify, anywhere else.
Dude, you went hard. You went quick with that.
That was good.
He belongs in television. He belongs in television, being able to do that.
That was impressive. I'm not going to lie. That was pretty good. Schmitty, where can people find you, man? What's going on?
You can find me at BF_Spy on Twitter. I am a writer and contributor for the Buffalo Fanatics. I currently write the Spy column. In that column, we take a look at the opposite team, an aspect that needs to be focused on, an aspect that's important or hasn't yet been covered. And there's also a dark horse bonus point in there that I kind of throw in at the end. And as far as that, I contribute and help out wherever else I can.
I love it. And by the way, you guys, you made a freaking a hell of a article on the case for MVP for our guy Josh Allen. So you guys should go peep that out, the Buffalo Fanatics website, and head it out. So let's go to my guy Carlton. Carlton, where can people find you, and what is it that you're known for? They need to know.
Okay, let's talk about it, man. I'm known for my victory dance, man. You know, I gotta get my victory.
Do it.
Win. You can't run about. You gotta get a little Carlton dance going on first. But you know, I run around a little bit outside. All right.
There we go.
All right. So you can find me on Life with Carlton on Twitter, man. Everything Bills there. Always kind of touching in and tapping in with the Bills Mafia, catching your thoughts, giving my thoughts. Look out for some more creative content coming soon. I'm kind of a free agent in the content game. It's what I love, but I'm looking for a home. So I'm going to start putting some more stuff out there. So check out that page. Carlton Speaks on everything else. Carlton with a K. Probably top 5 Bills dad. Rico, I know you're up there with me too. So
you got you.
Shouting out the little baby Bills Mafia. We got to get them going too. So check me out, follow me, and let's stay in touch.
Well, let's go. Well, listen, you're looking for a home, and you may have found one. So I'm just putting it out there. I'll just put it out there.
Give me a bing real quick.
Shout out to my guy Jeff Landers. Landers, where can we find you?
Okay, well, first of all, Tom Jones is the one who sings the Carlton dance song. So if you're a fan of that, look up the Salt and Pepper Diner bit by the comedian John Mulaney on YouTube. And it's about Tom Jones being played on a jukebox in a Chicago diner over and over and over and over again. It is absolutely hilarious. The Salt and Pepper Diner, it's a bit by John Mulaney on YouTube. Look it up. You won't regret it. Secondly, you can find me right there at Jeff Landers on Twitter. Love talking Bills, and really thank you to QB Watch, Bills QB Watch on Twitter, because whenever he posts those receipts, I'll definitely go in and throw some shade at people who need it. But on the BF tailgate, pregame shows Saturday or Sunday mornings before Bills games, right here on the Buffalo Fanatics, is where you can find me voicing some bad opinions.
There we go.
It's not unusual.
I got you. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this was an edition of the Rico Report with a fine panel. Thank you, gentlemen, for showing out. We actually topped out to about 700 people on a Sunday afternoon with no Bills game at all. So that tells you what the movement is doing.
Let's get a bell for that.
You know what? Don't ask me to tell you.
Bing.
Go. This is the Rico Report. Brought to you by the Buffalo Fanatics, one of the biggest brands out there doing it, and we have got a special team, man. This team is one of the best that's been created with us, and we're growing, constantly growing, and we're trying to get better every aspect of this whole brand. So let me smash that like, smash that like while you guys are here. By the way, smash that like, and if you got to this point in the video and you guys are doing you guys are running it back, Ref Landers, give us something that they should hashtag that they got to this point and they can say, you know what, I'm going to hashtag this. Anything random.
Oh, man. Anything random. How about ass cheeks tattoo for our man Judge? Hashtag ass cheeks tattoo for our man Judge.
Yeah, Judge has been ducking out. He better get that tattoo, and I need it soon. I'm not playing with this guy, man. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. It's always fun to get out of here with you guys. So I'm going to sign off with everybody saying go Bills, and I'll do my regular sign off. So I'll start with Clay, then Eric, then Carlton, then Ref Landers.
All right, go Bills, baby.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Let's go Buffalo.
Well, listen, it's about that time, folks. And you guys have yourself a fantastic afternoon. Enjoy the football. The Bills have won. We've got another week of football to go. So until next time, it's your boy, and we are gone. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Buffalo Fanatics proudly brings to you.
Oh, I don't want to get my wrestling bag, but y'all know what it is.